Since times immemorial, the internet has played an indispensable role in making the lives of people very efficient. A plethora of modes of worldwide communication, such as the email, SMS, chat rooms, etc., have been introduced to the internet. Skype was developed in 2003 and became the foremost peer to peer network for video calling. Social networking platforms such as the Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook were invented with the notion of bringing humankind across the globe together. But now, let's take a glimpse of the successor to the mobile internet, the Metaverse. The Metaverse is a set of virtual spaces where you can create and explore with other people who aren't in the same physical space as you. You'll be able to go beyond the confines of the screen and hang out with friends, work, play, learn, shop, and create. Donning a virtual reality headset or augmented reality glasses will give you access to virtual relationships, commerce, and construction, all freed from the bonds of worldly physics. In the metaverse, you'll be able to create a virtual avatar, like in a video game, try on bespoke clothing from the greatest designers, then head over to the virtual airport and learn to fly a jet fighter. Or maybe you'll want to live in a curved skyscraper that in real life could never withstand the rigors of gravity. With the internet, you can be online without necessarily interacting with other people. But the foundation of the metaverse is about digital human interaction. It's about people sharing a virtual universe together, be it for work, school, exercise, or simply for fun. As Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg said, it's about delivering a sense of presence like you're right there with another person, and that's the holy grail of online and social experience. Facebook has been rebranded as Meta. Mark Zuckerberg has shown keen passion to move past the 2D screens towards immersive experiences like augmented and virtual reality to help build the next evolution in social technology. The metaverse opens up a new economy where wealth can be created, traded, and enhanced using cryptocurrency such as the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, etc. However, there are concerns around data privacy, security, diversity, and ethical behavior, problems of the real world that may take on a new dimension in a virtual one. Let's travel to the future to discover the depths of the enigmatic metaverse, a world like no other.
You've probably seen the news. Just a few weeks ago, Facebook announced that they're changing their company's name to Meta because they're planning on building something called the Metaverse. I don't think enough people are talking about this. The Metaverse will change my life, it will change your life, so we need to understand what it is, why people are so excited about it, and how it can end society as we know it. The concept of the Metaverse is this. Throughout history, we've been constantly moving to more and more engaging mediums. We've gone from text to photo to video. We've gone from reading books and papers to now spending most of our spare time watching TikToks on the internet. Well, the metaverse is what comes next to an internet that you're not just going to look through a screen but also experience. Think of anything that you could be doing right now. Shopping, chatting with your friends, or even meditating to ASMR videos on YouTube. Now imagine that you'll be able to do it in a more realistic way in just the snap of your fingers. You'll be able to spend time with whoever you want to in a setting that whatever you imagine it can be. That is Meta's vision of the metaverse, achieved through a combination of augmented reality, virtual reality, which they said will subsidize the cost to get as many people as possible on the planet to be a part of the metaverse.
Previously, we had computers and smartphones with cameras to access the internet. But now we have a new version unleashed before us, the embodied internet. This new technology enables us to embrace the richness of the world through our own experiences. Maybe you want to jump off the top of a skyscraper, trek the Himalayas, tour the world in the comfort of your home. Even I have some crazy fantasies like walk on the rings of Saturn or spend the day as Batman. These are all impossible. But with Meta, they need not be. You can see the sunrise in the land of the rising sun. Meet up with your friends at Times Square for supper. Have ramen in the busy streets of Tokyo. Go boating in the floating city. Take your love out for dinner. Feel the breeze on your face while watching the sun go down on top of the Eiffel Tower. And finally relax watching the Aurora Borealis in the North Pole before sleeping in your comfy bed with the scent of home all around you. You can go anywhere in the world, anytime you wish, with anyone you want in the metaverse. Anything, everything you've always wanted, now you can have it all like this. Suppose you wanted to be the favorite character in your favorite movie, it can happen like this. You wanted to play Fortnite physically like this. You wanted to feel zero gravity like this.
The only limit is your imagination. The real world on social media, all we have are pictures of 2016 or 2017 or of the one time we went somewhere amazing with our family sitting on our DPs on our accounts. But in the metaverse, we are a three-dimensional entity, an avatar. Yes, an avatar that expresses us and physical gestures accurately. It's like our DPs but so much better. The best part is you can make it look like whatever you want. You don't need to be the same as you are in the real world. You can be of any race, of any gender, of any height. You can even be a different creature altogether. It's your choice, and that's what makes the metaverse awesome. This will allow you to rise above your insecurities. The most part is that you can recreate yourself as you want. This will break all man-made barriers and bring us humans closer together.
From taking a digital dip in the Ganga to hanging out with your 3D avatar pals, the metaverse is set to change the way people connect, study, trade, and socialize. Think of attending online class, but instead of your laptop screen, you're wearing a device that encloses all your perceptions and puts you in a virtual space, and real elements will appear as holograms out of thin air. Can you imagine how exciting it would be to learn astronomy while floating through space or experience life underwater? Students will get to visually experience the subject, not to mention the lasting impact and the curiosity to learn more. People can teleport wherever they want to while sitting in the living room through Metaverse. If you want to go see Taj Mahal, walk the Great Wall of China, or for that matter go shopping in Paris, all that will be possible with a few clicks and a good pair of 3D goggles. And while teleporting, you can choose who you want to be. If you want to have a face of an actor or be a cross-gender personality, you have it. In other words, the Metaverse will liberate the traditional way of seeing each other with no geography. Metaverse is not just about going into the virtual world, it's about making the virtual and the real world one.
And it's not just travel that will speed up massively, it's also learning. You know how now we look at libraries as really old fashioned because why would you try and find out info from a book when you can Google exactly what you want? Well, the metaverse is going to make Googling seem just as old fashioned. You'll be able to learn about things by just touching them or even by looking at them, and to be able to obtain that information in a more visual, interactive way than we have ever seen before. In the metaverse, you will be able to travel not just to any place, but also to any time. Ancient Rome. Imagine standing on the streets, visiting the markets to get a sense of the rhythm of life over 2000 years ago. Imagine learning how the Forum was built by actually seeing the Forum get built right in front of you. You will be able to actually experience living with the dinosaurs. Now, can you imagine?
And hey, if you can learn faster, you can also do things faster. I think the metaverse will make us even more productive. Take the current situation. For 2021, work from home undoubtedly backs the phrase of the year. Well, the metaverse offers an entirely optimal work from home experience like no other. Whether that's surrounded by colleagues or completely alone. Whether that's in an office in outer space or sitting in a magical jungle. Whether you're surrounded by Beethoven's symphony while you work or just like the sound of silence. It's all up to you. Plus, the tech will allow you to input faster. While writing with pens is gradually becoming a thing of the past due to endless tapping on keyboards, the metaverse will take things to the next level with voice gestures and even make things happen by just thinking about them. Meta is currently working on electromyographic or EMG input devices, which can detect and intercept the impulses in your nerves and the signals from what your brain wishes to convey. In simple words, you'll be able to send a message to someone by just thinking about moving your fingers. You won't even need to move them physically. Next year, Meta is launching a headset currently being codenamed Project Cambria, which will be able to track your facial expressions in real time, and you can have conversations with realistic body language through your avatar in the virtual space. Hence, there are potential benefits that Metaverse might offer: experiences, expression, teleportation, knowledge, and productivity. But there are also a couple of potentially unexpected ones.
The metaverse is a living, shared, everlasting universe, equipped with virtual and augmented reality. The obvious benefits from the metaverse include experience, expression, teleportation, knowledge, and productivity. But there's also a potentially unexpected benefit, like the impact that befalls the environment. Producing real products is entirely inefficient. The production of a real car, for example, can quite easily result in 20 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. In contrast, the production of a virtual car causes undeniably trivial harm to the environment. When it comes to the matter of emissions, it only gets greater when you potentially use that car, which is not necessary in this virtual world where teleportation reigns. The idea of a virtual car sounds very odd and not at all comparable, but in the metaverse, with teleportation, both virtual and physical cars are just as useless as each other. You'd only drive one if you specifically fancy to drive. So it's quite likely the more users that join the metaverse, the more we shift towards purchasing digital goods, leading to fewer planes, trains, cars, ships, and delivery vans that we use. Our impact on the planet, integrating it, might nosedive as there would be minimal usage of natural resources.
The metaverse will also be a new economy. Meta is developing a store within it called Horizon Marketplace, a game-changing platform where every person can be a buyer or a seller. If all of us are spending our entire time in the metaverse, our virtual appearances and virtual homes gradually would matter more than our physical ones. The global economy is inevitably moving towards a digital ecosystem. From investment to money transfer, everything is going paperless. Now a major question remains, how are digital assets bought? Here comes the role of cryptocurrencies, a major counter to double spending and counterfeiting encountered during virtual trade. So why is the digital world going crypto crazy? Cryptocurrency is digital currency secured by a set of codes which are a part of a decentralized blockchain network instead of being controlled by a centralized authority like the RBI. While it has already begun taking countless forms like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, etc., I would like to limit my discussion to the world's most popular, Bitcoin. How do we categorize the Bitcoin? Is it a value, a payment network, a type of currency? Now this is a matter of controversy. But for the wild digital world, it is purely a digital phenomenon, a software embedded with a set of protocols and processes. While tax authorities and enforcement agencies globally are still debating on how to standardize virtual trade laws. Many consumers wonder if they can use the Bitcoin legally. The current system of exchange involves the presence of banks which act as mediators and charge their customers an interest for the purpose of securing their deposits. Decentralization of exchanges can facilitate faster and cheaper transactions, as the entire validation is processed by the code itself, ruling out the need for middlemen. But cryptocurrencies are apparently volatile. Susceptibility of the public towards emotion, fear, greed is a prime cause behind this. Viral social trends entirely shape the value of a Bitcoin. For example, as parodied in a source, if Elon Musk puts hashtag Bitcoin in his Twitter bio, it sends Bitcoin up by 10%. Moreover, digital transactions use astonishing amounts of electricity. The process of creating Bitcoin, which is apparently 3,000 lines of C++, consumes annual electricity close to 0.5% of world electricity consumption. Furthermore, the entry of NFTs, short for non-fungible tokens, most likely sparked off a mini revolution in the sphere of virtual trade. In simple terms, fungible means replaceable or mutually interchangeable. Currency notes are fungible, while NFTs are just the opposite. We can own these artworks on the internet, and the records are securely maintained via blockchain. Why? If you post your artwork on social media, you can perhaps get thousands of likes, but if you upload your artwork on a blockchain network in the form of NFTs and put it up for sale, you can earn thousands of dollars. Big difference. First from Bollywood to jump into the NFT bandwagon, Amitabh Bachchan in November sold his NFT collection of a poetic series, Madhushala, for 7.18 crore. Twitter's CEO Jack Dorsey sold his first tweet as an NFT for an astonishing sum of over 2.9 million USD. I know what you all might be thinking at the moment. Is the world going stark raving mad? Well, that's exactly what people have said back then when the internet was emerging.
But it's also pretty scary. There are 4 key things that I think we need to be very mindful of, like data. Let's be honest, Facebook has had a pretty rocky relationship with how it handles user data in the past. And that is still from an era where we are different from our digital selves. And in the case where we might become our digital selves, where our profile pictures are not just a few holiday photos that we choose to share, but literally every single thing that we plan to do in the metaverse. So we would have to end up putting a whole new amount of trust into a company that doesn't even tell how it's going to use our data. We're talking about data collection on the level of even measuring your brain activity. You wouldn't even give your family that kind of access, but this is a future where you could be giving it to Meta. What?
But something potentially even scarier than the data problem is what we are talking about. How companies will create virtual experiences that feel indistinguishable from real ones. On one hand, it's a miracle, but isn't it also a little bit alarming? We are already being shown predominantly only the content we agree with and the content that we want to see. But if you take that concept into the realm of the metaverse, you will completely lose touch with what's actually real. The power to curate not just your newsfeed but your entire world now means that if you hate seeing homeless people, well, your metaverse can pretend that they don't exist. If you didn't think COVID was real in your version of the metaverse, it wouldn't be. If you only loved one tech brand and hated the rest, then in your metaverse, that's all you would need to see. You won't really know if what someone is saying to you is what actually the person behind that avatar is saying, or if it's just what Meta wants you to hear, because it'll keep you on the platform for the longest. Let's say one of your friend's account gets hacked. You would be sitting right next to a cyber criminal and you wouldn't even know. This could worsen to trap us in the depths of insecurity as we would be surrendering our entire sense of reality to a company whose reputation is not that great in data handling.
But there's more. You might not know this, but one of the biggest challenges of running a social media platform is in the moderation of it. Facebook already has entire warehouses filled with people who are just scanning for the absolute worst things people are posting: hate speech, terrorism, exploitation, and just trying to prevent as much of it as possible from spreading. As against the daily average of 4 hours of screen time in social media, the users become way too immersive in the meta world. They're going to spend their entire life in the metaverse. If Meta wants to carry on moderation in something as complex and as open as the metaverse, then they're going to need to do it in an incredibly invasive way. They're going to have to be watching exactly what tattoos people's avatars have, what the writing on their clothing is saying, every single item you design or purchase for your home space. Every action will have to be monitored if they don't want it to turn into chaos.
Okay, these are all concerns, but do you want to know what my most fundamental fear is about the metaverse? Is that we talk about all the cool stuff with learnable avatars to be able to do what they want, look how they want, experience anything, but it all leaves a big question about what happens to us. At the end of the day, as incredible as the technology is, we are still people. We need to eat healthy, we need to drink lots of water, we need to work out. And I'm not convinced that the metaverse is going to help us continue to do that. I think the metaverse is effectively the next generation of social media, with all the positives and the negatives of those platforms taken to the absolute extreme. You'll experience the highs of immersive shared experiences like never before, but also harassment in a way that feels far uncomfortable and activities that are more addictive. In a world where something of this power exists, you won't be able to just pop off your headset and carry on with your day as usual. The metaverse will feel no more optional than the internet does now. You'll need it for work to get the required productivity, for social opportunities because that's where all your friends are. You'll need it because, relative to your life in the metaverse, your real life will kind of suck. It will make us put our headsets back on and spend even more time in the metaverse. And I think this will apply to jobs too. An architect who in the metaverse can productively design buildings with his team, considering the metaverse becomes what he's setting out to, we won't need the buildings that he designs. As a matter of fact, in a world where you can just tap a few keys and have what you want up in front of you, surely most people won't have jobs in the realm of technology. There's greater scope for the fear techies. We talk about the future as driverless cars and hyper-connected cities. But if the metaverse takes over, we are not going to need any cars or cities. All we need is a good internet connection and a seat. The metaverse is not an invention that one moment it's not there and then suddenly it is. The metaverse is already here. Facebook is just the first one to make its part in it official. But the metaverse should be kept an open source to make sure that the codes and its functioning remains public, and that will mean more minor concerns about your data and spying. This will probably make development slow because with open source projects, there's much less of a profit incentive compared to keeping your secret source behind closed doors. Maybe that's a good thing as it will give people more time for the regulation to catch up with the technology itself.